Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing an updated Minecraft city tour because I haven't done one for quite a while now. So this is really an update of what's changed and what hasn't changed. As you can see to the left and right of me, I have designed the new flags for the city. Will be the new flags. So for example, if I just swing us around, the blue symbolises England. The white is the contrast between the two colours, and then the green is for green fields of Holby and beyond. So yeah, there'd normally be like a little dot here because there's a crown on the design, but you can't really put like dots on banners and stuff, so it's just like this. So here we are inside of the control room. So this is slowly getting sorted and done. The floor's already in. And as you can see, the windows being slowly cut away so you guys can see the Stargate. I'll just show you the map. So that's the map as it is entirely. It has changed a bit since the last update, so we've got a bit of more detail being added and other things. I will show you this. So let's get exploring. So if we whiz out of here, just get out of there. And then down these stairs. So as you saw in the last one, this was the spaceport, and I explained that this was one of the shuttles, Enterprise, and then over here we said that there was going to be like another space shuttle, and here it is. Here is another space shuttle. This is the space shuttle Independence. She's just blasting off from the pad, so you can see it's just gone off and launched. And it's just made with some cobwebs going in pretty much any direction I can feel it wants to, and it will just blowing smoke across the entirety of the launch pad, and it's shooting off up into space. There will be some more buildings in and around here as well. Nothing's really changed for the road. You're still going to have the bridge here, and then we get onto the newer bits. So here we have Battleship Row. Battleship Row is a area that I'm putting in to house some more battleships because my navy is small, and so I need some big capital ships to provide firepower to the fleet. So we've got the Battleship Row, so these will be where the stores and stuff are, and then we're over into the harbour area. So currently over here I'm working currently on HMS Repulse, a light battle cruiser from World War II, so she'll sit there. Rodney will sit here, Barham there, and then Belfast at the end. There'll be some other ships along here which we'll get to in a minute, and then we have the aircraft carrier. So as you saw in the last one, this was all road and grass and everything. I've taken that out and I've made it now the bigger harbour section so we can store the Invincible class aircraft carrier HMS Hampshire R10 in there. So she will sit in here, and she will she'll carry F-35s, Harriers, and also the presidential the King helicopter and other helicopters that we need for going around and going between ships. Down here we have the storage and markers for the next couple of ships I need to do. So we've got HMS Sirius at the back, the HMS Ark 1980s version, World War II version of HMS Ark, and the HMS Hood. And then below here, and this is one of the best things I've done, is I've done a crash wreck. So this is of a Japanese aircraft designed by Crafty Fox on YouTube. So he designed the plane. Well, he didn't design the plane, one of his friends designed the plane, but he did the tutorial for it, so I built it and then broke it all up and made it look like it's actually crashed into the sea and got damaged because of it. At the back we have a bit more of the mountain. There hasn't been changes yet to the mountain. We'll get to the housing estate in a minute. We've still got a new scimitar being added. The destroyer submarine's been finished and been added in. This is HMS Trafalgar. HMS Astute hasn't even been built yet. We've got the other like ships here, so we have HMS Sabre over there, Scimitar, and Sword over on the other side, and then we have HMS Surrey, Medway, and then over here is over there is HMS Echo. We then have the cargo ship that hasn't really changed since the last one. Same as here, this is all hasn't really changed. Same with that ship, hasn't really changed. You've now got the new marker for HMS Foxhound, another destroyer from World War II. This all hasn't changed. This is all hasn't changed. So you've still got the ships here: HMS Echo, HMS Sword, HMS Dasher, and then here this was going to be a Flower Corvette ship, but then I changed my mind and put a Batch 1 River class patrol vessel in here, and this is going to be HMS Solent. So HMS Solent is one of the Batch 1 River class patrol vessels we'll have, and then she'll live in here. And then HMS Dreadnought will live in here, which is an Astute class submarine. There's nothing really changed on the Royal Yacht. There's been bits added and some bits that have been taken off. The notable difference is this has been extended, and I've started to try and detail inside, but nothing overall's changed. We keep following this road around. The last update you saw that these houses weren't done, they're now done, and since that I've added a bit more, so I've added some more houses along here and a bit along there, and there's some over at the back which we'll get to momentarily. Here we still have the cargo yard, and here's my little Welsh friend I've just finished building. This is Ivor, the engine. He's a very simple build. He's basically black concrete, a couple of pistons, some stone slabs, levers, either green concrete or green wool, gold, oak fences, black concrete or black wool, and then some coal or black wool again if you haven't got coal in the default texture pack, and then some cobwebs to make it look like he's puffing steam out. So yeah, and then we've still got here, and then the next thing I've basically added is this. This is our war memorial for Holby City. So this is the Holby City War Memorial. So on here we have all of the commemorative plaques and stuff, so I'll just go through it for you. Just gonna try and set it for you. Okay. So the first one we have is World War I. So this is like from 1914 to 1918. So this covers all casualties, both civilian, military, everybody who died sadly in the war, both World Wars. So World War I and World War II. So there's the dates as well. We have RMS Titanic. The only problem is that I did put it as the 14th. She didn't sink on the 14th, she sank on the 15th in the morning, well, early hours of the 15th, so I need to change that somewhere. We have the Lusitania, which sank on the 7th of May 1915 because of a U-boat, I think 20 or something, but I will change that soon. Then we have the UK World War I HS Britannic, which sank on my birthday, basically 21st of November, but in 1916, so she celebrated her 100th birthday as I was celebrating my birthday as well. We have then the UK Mary Rose, which was sunk on the 18th of July 1545. We have then the Russian Soyuz, so I wanted other nations rather than the UK as well, so I've added a Russian one. So the Russian Soyuz, which was lost on the 24th of April 1967. Then we get down to here, and these ones have like underplaques to them, so it basically means I couldn't add a lot of detail in here, so I just basically added another plaque and explained a bit more detail. So this one is the UK HMS Barham. She was lost on the 25th of November 1941, and then I've put, because this was a family member of mine that died, sadly passed away on the ship, I've put the their name, and then at the bottom I've put what happened. She was sunk by U-331, which was a German submarine, and she sunk off of the... She was sunk off at Alexandria, but they haven't found the wreck yet because it's classed as a war grave, so people can't go and find it or dive to it. And then the next one we have is STS 107 from 2003, which was the Space Shuttle Columbia incident from the 1st of February. And the problem with that was she burnt up on re-entry due to a heat tile failure on her left wing, because there was a problem as she was launching off the pad at Kennedy. One of the bits from it flew off and hit her in the wing and made a hole, sadly. The next one we have is the Lockheed Hudson T9432, which is the Hudson aircraft that relates to my family again, and this one sadly lost on the 15th of April 1941. And then we have what's the plaque at the bottom. It was going to have all the names of the crew, but then I couldn't add all the names, everybody's names, plus all the details, plus their ages and everything, so I just added one, which was the one that relates to me, which is Flight Sergeant Douglas Green, and he's RAVR pilot, and he died at basically my age, which is sad. Then we have the next space shuttle incident. Sadly, it was STS-51L or Lima, and lost in 1986 on the 28th of January, and it was Space Shuttle Challenger. The reason because she was lost, I've then put at the bottom, was explosion 73 seconds after launch, O-ring failure. So basically, O-ring is a thing on the booster rockets that helps expand and contract due to when the boosters ignite and stop and then shut down. And because it was so cold on launch day, they ignited the boosters, and because there was a small, it cracked just before they ignited the boosters, so then it's shot out plumes of black smoke. I think the video of the footage you can see on YouTube, I wouldn't recommend watching it unless you're over 16, because it is sad, because you do see the shuttle literally disintegrate and blow itself to bits, sadly. But yeah, and then you have the next one for the USA, which is the Apollo 1 incident back on the 27th of January 1967, and that was because there was a fire on the pad at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, in the United States. They still got the launch pad, it's just got a new plaque on it, and then at the bottom I've added a bit more, which is a memorial to remember the fallen and others who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the development of science and technology for others. So basically that's what this means in the memorial. Sorry guys, got a cough coming, I think. This is the bit that I got from Armageddon, because this is actually on the memorial at the Kennedy Space Center on the Apollo 1 launch pad, which is Ada Aspar per Asper, which basically is Latin for a rough road leads to the stars, and this is the Apollo 1 Memorial, Kennedy Space Center, Florida. And then at the back you've got the flag again, and then on this side we've got another one, but this is a quote from Armageddon. This is what they had on their arm patches, which was for all mankind, Armageddon 1998. So that's basically the memorial. We will have an aircraft probably on the top, and then maybe a tank or something here. There's like a war memorial, but then round it will be grass with some poppies and stuff in it as well. Here we got some more shops being added and stuff. This is all coming along very well. And then here we have one of the Georgian mansions I'm working on, Enviro tutorial by WBC Builds. So that's Whiteberg City Builds. He's a very good person on YouTube. You should go and check him out. He's actually building his own city or creating a city with a load of his friends on the PC, and he's basically doing it in the time period of 1912, so he's doing like Georgian and Victorian buildings. So this is like a Georgian Victorian mansion that I'm working on, and so you can see that there's a bit of Art Deco, a bit of Georgian-y type of architecture built into it. It's not fully finished, but it is slowly finished, and this will be the home for the Duchess of Southsea, which is the area of water that is part of our harbour, plus a area within the United Kingdom as well. If we keep going down this way, there's nothing really changed here, except we have added a bit more greenery to this. Nothing changed over here. Oh, here we have another bit of an update. Here we've added a bit more of the some platforms and stuff. The single one is a bit naff, it is a bit small, but I couldn't really get anything too like 3 wide, because it would have touched the trains either side, and I do like a block gap, like the end one, but some of them they do touch, so I think I'm going to struggle to get it perfectly right to train level accuracy, but it does work. And then you've got the layout template for the next big station. There's some more roads and stuff. The Tesco store has now been finished. It's fully furnished inside. It's now got shelves and everything, and shopping carts, and all the .com vans. So for yourself, Dan, and Camille and Jamie and everything, all the vans are in, plus the vans that did come and do a visit with us, because we had vans down, so like this one and this one and this one. I still haven't added our new pod van yet, but I will add that eventually, and like that one. So yeah, on the on the shopping mall side of things, nothing's really changed. Same as the Hornby store, that hasn't really been any updates done to it. Over here on the railway line, nothing's really updated along here, except up this end where we've added a new locomotive. This is a Hall class, but it's not in the colours of the Hogwarts Express from Harry Potter. This is the GWR variant of the Hogwarts castle, so this is basically what it would have worn in GWR days, or BR green. And there's I think there's 1, 2 in the sheds, 2 there, that's 4, plus 1 there, that makes 5. There's some other builds I'm going to probably put in later on, either today or tomorrow. Some water cranes have been done, so these are really simple. It's basically a couple of nether brick fences, a stone pressure plate, a 3x3 like square block, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks high, and then it's filled in at the top, and then you've got 1 nether brick fence straight in the middle, and then of 1, 2, 3, 4 block of grey concrete or grey wall, whatever your block colour you're using, along, and then 4 going down for the hose, and that makes the water cranes. Over here we've got a bit more like a siding and a loading area, so if trains are coming in from like the UK after being overhauled and fixed, they can be loaded onto here and then put back onto the rails. Or if locos are going to galas and steam events at different railways, such as the light railway up there, the Heritage Railway over there, or in England, they can be loaded onto low loaders via this and sent across the country. And then we've still got all the transformer vehicles, some of the transformer vehicles. The control room hasn't really changed. It has just been filled in with some grass and stuff in places, but nothing major. The train stations kind of had a little update. The only real difference is I've cut away a bit of the tunnel and added a bit more of like the ticketing area so that it lets people get onto the platforms a bit more, and there's some more coaches and stuff on here. From the last update video you saw that the pacer train was probably here. Well, we've added another set, so it's now a 6 set train. Then we still got the King, the Southeastern and Chatham locomotive, which has no carriages yet, Gordon in the Thompson French franchise, or Coronac in the real life variant. Schools class, there's a couple of other little things I'll put in here, and then we've got our Eurostar that I've added. This was a very complicated build to do. It was not complicated tutorial wise, it's just complicated in the sense of the platform, because where I wanted it to stop, wanted it to stop just before we got to a set of buffers, but I wanted enough room to have a deep enough siding to go into them. So yeah, I might look at switching that round so that the point's going that way instead of this way, and then we'll have the siding that end so that I can then extend the platform a bit more. But work in progress. It's slow and steady, as the saying goes. Over on this side we've done a bit of changes up to here. From the last update you probably saw, I think the bridge was in, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm definitely sure the bridge was in, so there's nothing really changed here except we've added some more buffers and stuff to here and detailed it off. This is going to be the farm building, and then over here is the farm, so this is just getting started on work. And then we have the mountain, which is a mountain designed off of one on the Southwestern Railway line between Ashvale and I think Woking or Brookwood. And so yeah, it's a very big tunnel, and there's different gradients of grass to make it a bit more like steep and pointed. But apart from that, that's really not much that's changed. Over in the airport, there's nothing really changed with the ground. The main building's there's been another floor added, and there's a floor just starting to be added. So this is the departures for the lower aircraft, so the aircraft that are parked just like with the gates either side, and then above that will be the other gates, and they'll go down at a diagonal angle to aircraft parked in between, so you can have more aircraft parked, like smaller, like Learjets and stuff. What else have I done? The hospitals had some changes, but not majorly. I think the one change we've added is we've added a MASH helicopter to the top. So this is a 4077 Mobile Army Surgical Hospital helicopter used in the TV show MASH from like the 1970 to 1982 was the last episode, and so this would carry casualties and everything to and from the hospital. There will be another like Airbus as well on here. The other real notable change is in here. The town hall, the top floor has been sorted. It's just the bottom floor now I've got to sort. And on the top floor we've got a couple of pictures, flags again, and then the big flag, and then we have the table. So on this table houses everybody and their roles and ranks within the city. So I'll just go through it now. So this is the first one. So this is my one. So I am King and the Duke of Cornwall, even though the Duke of Cornwall technically is a title within the British system. I fancy having Duke of Cornwall title put onto here. And then if we go left and then round and then back on ourselves, we've got Ellie, who's a friend of mine at work, and she is the Duchess of Southsea, UK and Holby. We have Cherry, she's the Commodore and of the Navy, and also the Royal Events Expert. We have Jordan, Head of Treasury. We have Ollie, who's Chief Superintendent of Transport, but I couldn't add Superintendent next to the Chief, so I had to add Chief of Transport and then Superintendent underneath. We have Jessica Caney, who's the First Sea Lord of the Holby Navy. We have Amy Hodson, who is a best friend of mine and I am happy with, and she's really nice. She's the Deputy Designer. We have Lewis P, who's the Head of the Search and Rescue Team. We have Jack, he's the PM. We have Sarah, who's a Tesco's line manager at the Tesco stores, and she is the Captain General of the Royal Marines, or our Royal Marines, not the UK Royal Marines. We have Xander, who's the head of the Holby City shopping online unit, so online shopping unit. So she'll be in charge of like .com areas, Amazon orders and everything. Then we have Tori, who's another one that works for Tesco's, and she is the head of unit, which is the Unified Intelligence Task Force. I have put in brackets Doctor Who because people might think unit as like a unit of measurement or something, and so I had to put Doctor Who underneath, otherwise it gets confusing. So we have then Becky, who's also a member of Tesco's, and she's the Marshal of the Holby Air Force, which hasn't officially been finished, but it's getting there. We have then Sophia, who's the Field Marshal of the Holby Army. Amelie, who's the General of the Holby Army. And then we have Olivia, who is Duchess of Southampton in the United Kingdom. We have Archie, who's the Duke of Southampton in the United Kingdom. Then we have Blondie, who's head of the news and press for... This is also a member of the last... these three are all members of Tesco's, their staff. So then Blondie's also, who is, I think, Tesco's Cafe, head of the news and press for this Holby City. Then we have Chantel, who's also part of Tesco's Cafe. She's the Holby City Tesco's Cafe manager. We have Lucy, who's .com. She's the Air Marshal of the Holby Air Force. We have Rita, who's the manager for the Tesco's Cafe in general, and she's the Chief Marshal. Air Chief Marshal. Libby, who's one of our .com drivers, she's the Lieutenant General of the Holby Army. We have Calvin, who is the Admiral of the Fleet, so he is in charge of all the ships in his constituents of the Holby Navy. We have Jamie, who's the Vice Admiral of the Holby Navy. Dan, who's Rear Admiral of the Holby Navy. We have Sam, who's Lord High Exchequer, but that might change to another person. Cole, who's Admiral of the Holby Navy. Kushi, who's the Deputy of the Treasury. Lauren Caney, who's Chief Designer. Lewis Elpelt, who's the Prince. Bryony Jackson is the Princess. And then the best one here is we have Izzy. She's the Queen and Duchess of Cornwall, so she's basically sat on my right because we run the city, and then if anything should happen for us to, or we abdicate or something, then Bryony and Lewis will then take over the monarchy and they would then run the city. So I think that's about it, guys. I don't know if I've missed anything out. Let me just get out of this sodding building. Let me look at the map. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. So I'd just like to say a big thank you for everybody that's watching my channel. If you would like to see any more update videos or even tours of this, tutorials of how I did like certain builds like Ivor or any of the smaller engines I build, please leave a comment down below and I will hopefully try and work out how I can tutorialize it. And so yeah, I would like to say thank you very much for watching again, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.